على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Just to carry on Surah Yusuf, the lessons for us which can obtain from the surah and the ibar, the wisdom. Now, وراودته التي هو في بيتها عن نفسه. Obviously, here he was already in the house, so it wasn't like somebody chasing women or something. He was there. He was he grown up there. That's his own home, and he had no choice. He was like bought as a slave, and they prepared herself to him. And then he said he وغلقت الأبواب. She locked all the doors. So no one will suddenly open the door. You have to open the first door, second door, third door, and then she will hear that somebody coming and change position or something. Here, Imam Sha'rawi mentioned the story of somebody who refused to make bay'ah, pledge to Muawiyah, Abi Sufyan, to be the Khalifa in Medina. And he heard about him. He said, bring him to me. And they brought him to Damascus, and where the Khalifa was sitting in one of the buildings the Roman used to occupy. So they entered with him the first door, and he thought that Muawiyah would be sitting there. No, all his deputies and his helpers and guards. And then he went another door, and then again there's more people in charge, and a beautiful place. And his third door, again more people. And no, that's not the Khalifa. Fourth door, fifth door. When he entered there, Assalamu alaikum ya Rasulullah. Because he saw that so mighty, there's so many doors you have to. And this guy who was in Medina saying, who is that Muawiyah? I'm not going to elect him. So when he saw it from door to door. So here she closed the doors, many doors, obviously. And I did actually went to Riyadh to see a prince in his palace. And again, I went from door to door to door, massive holes, and you go to another hole. And then your feet sink in the carpet, so it's so much, thick carpet. I'm prepared to him. He said, obviously, ma'adallah, the only help from Allah, because no one is coming here to help me. Ma'adallah, innahu rabbi ahsana mathwai. Now here, if you remember the previous ayah, he said, Limra'atihi akrimi mathwa. Be good to him, look after him. So he actually said to her, your husband, who are taking my tarbiyah, looking after me, he has been good to me. This is one of the meaning. Innahu Rabbi, your husband is Rabbi, he's looked after me, he's my position of my dad, he's being good to me. And could be that Allah Azza wa Jal himself who looked after him, and there's no way. And those who commit such an evil act will never be successful. Now this following ayah that she tried to force him to sleep with her, and the one next to it is actually proving that she tried to rape him, and he would have done the same because he's not like impotent, so he has no tendency to women, or he's not enough to become as a husband. He would have tried, but he knows لولا أن رأى برهان ربه, because he saw from his God, from his Lord, from Allah Azza wa Jal, that that's going to lead you to disaster, no matter what you do. And this way, what they do, I mean, some women, they could seduce. I know one seduced by a woman. We went to her house a couple of times, 3 times, when I was Saudi. And the 4th time, she took get rid of him. So she called the police. Or somebody's trying to break into my house and rape me. So they came and they caught him going inside the house. What are you going to do here? He said, I'm going to steal. So obviously, he couldn't say this is his lover or something. I'm going to steal, so they deported him. So when they don't like the person, they just, get rid of him in a way or another, no matter what he is. So he knows. I mean, there's a story I tell my students. It happened in Syria, near the Umayyad Mosque. A boy, a young man, a beautiful man, and they used to take the water to the houses. because there's no pipes and no running water. So he was filling the containers of her house, in her house, with water, and she fancied him. So she wanted to rape him. I'm not Yusuf. I'm not going to succeed. So he said to her, "Can I go to the loo?" I said, "Okay, you go to the loo." And he went to the loo and he smeared himself. And he came out, the look awful, the smell even awful. And she shouted, "Out of my house, out of my house." And he went. And he went to his house, had a shower. And from that day, every time he passes people, he smelled perfume. And they even called him a Miski. So when he died, he was buried in that area, and they called the market al Miskiya. If you go to Damascus and go to the Umayyad Mosque by the end of Al Hamadiyya, there's a place on the left by the end called al Miskiya. And this is when his guy is known. And I say to my student, you can always find a way without being, because if he went and she would have shouted, "Oh, he tried to rape me," who's going to believe him? We're going to believe her. So here, he found the best way to run away, and they said his shirt was a bit long, and she tried to pull him back, and she ripped the shirt from the back, and Allah doesn't want him to have that fahsha or munkar. And then her master was by the door, and straight away she gave her verdict. He was trying to rape me, and you should punish him or put him in prison or give him severe punishment. And he said, "No, she seduced me." And they said Shahid, the witness, was a little boy. But the Shahid, he said, if it was his shirt was ripped from the back, then he is right, she is wrong. If it's ripped from the front, then he is wrong and she is right. So they found that his shirt was ripped from the back. So he was telling the truth. And here, when you look into what happened in the corridors of power, when one of the more important people and mighty people commit a scandal or something, they try to cover it up. So when he saw that it was her mistake, I said, "إنه من كيدهن إن كيدكن عظيم." It's your plot, and you plot badly. You're not great plots. And here the scholars say their plots are great because of their weakness in taking, revenge. Because if you are strong and somebody made something, harmed you, I say, "Okay, where are you going to go? We'll bring you wherever you go. So don't worry. You don't need to plot." But if a weak person had to take revenge, he will take the first chance to take revenge and run. So here, he said, it's your plot, it's Azim. But then, this is what they do in the corridor of power. Okay, forget about it. Ask for Allah forgive you. Don't tell anybody. That's the end of it. I mean, Epstein, how long it took? It took years. It took a lot of events to happen before they started uncovering. And I think there's still a lot uncovered, which could take rid of a lot of these big shots in America and in Britain. And they all cover up for each other. If you remember Jeffrey Archer, he was caught with a prostitute, and then they published in the paper, and he claimed that he was staying with his friend. And his friend went to court, confirmed, yes. And Jeffrey Archer had £500,000 from the paper that they were lying. And went for years until the election for the mayor of London took place, and he put his name to be elected as a mayor. And then his friend, at that time, they fell apart. So his friend went and said, "No, he wasn't actually in my house, and I lied." Both went to prison, but he was quite happy to go to prison to stop him becoming the mayor of London and to take revenge from him, because whatever between the two of them. So corridor of power they still cover up for things, and they happen like it. And this what happened there. The cover up, you are committed a mistake and ask forgiveness about it, and that's the end of the matter. It wasn't the end of the matter, because by that time you don't have to go and tell. Because here, وقالت نسوة في المدينة, women in the city. It's not women in the palace. So it went out of the palaces to the city. And how it went out of the city to the city, they tell you that it's actually the servants, the cleaner, the door guard, whatever, told their wives. So it spread in the city, spread. And they started saying, oh, she's so idiot. She fell in love with her slave. So when she heard she fell in love with her slaves, then she brought them, invited them, and I'm sure smart. Those who are following us are unlikely to read the Arabic, so I'm leaving it as a small.
She was very smart.
Yeah. So when they when she heard that they were talking about her, she brought them, and as you know, she prepared for them a nice setting. The same with takan means they are so relaxed and happy and cutting their fruits and vegetables and things, whatever that fruit they produced to them. Gave each one of them a knife, and she asked them to come out. And when he came out, akbarnahu, we're saying here, they said, "Oh my God, oh, this is like an angel," and they just cut their hands. And they said he's not a human; he must be an angel. So this is obviously a plot on the high level. And she said, that's the one you blamed me of wanting to sleep with him and become in love with him. But he refused. And if he doesn't do what I'm ordering him to do, we will put him in prison and he will be belittled, humiliated. And here, the difference between Sayyidina Muhammad and Sayyidina Yusuf. قال السجن أحب إلي مما يدعونني إليه. I prefer to go to prison and not to listen to their demands. Now, Sayyidina Muhammad said, رحمتك أوسع لي. So ask Allah Azza for more mercy, for more help. After he was beaten in Taif and blade and things, so he want Allah Azza to help him out. After that, Medina came. Like a delegation from Medina came, contracted him, and immigrated to Medina. So ask Allah Azza the best. Don't accept the little. When they teach us this, one of the stories they told us, as a guy was asking Allah, oh Allah, I'm really tired of working here, working there. I just need 2 loaves of bread every day. That's it. So he was walking and he was caught in the middle of a gang, and the police took all of them to prison. And every day they give him 2 loaves of bread. First month, second month, fifth month. That's all Allah. Only 2 loaves. And then he heard the sound. You asked for 2 loaves of bread. This is what I said to my children. You want to marry a woman, ask for a woman who is educated, has belief, pretty, have social status. Not only one, ask for all of them. Like a guy was listening to the hadith, and the Imam was saying, women are married because one of 4. Either they believe Iman, or their beauty, or their social status, or their money. And he looked at his wife and said, sometimes for the sake of Allah. So this is what he said. He went to prison. But he didn't go to prison then. He went to prison, and because Allah he doesn't want to be in that atmosphere. And Allah turned them away from him. So they were away from him. They were not seducing him anymore. But their husbands became worried. The husbands who are in the palace, in the power, we need to get rid of him now. They are worried about their wives now. So they said, okay, we'll just put him in prison, forget about him. Who's he? And that's actually happened. A lot of police in power, they get rid of people just because they want to silence them. And when the recent one about appointing the ambassador, sack this place, sack this man, and sack that man. Get rid of the story, get rid of the person who could bring headaches to us. So in third world country, they kill him. They just kill him forever.
Like
So
being killed, you know.
No, he didn't. He didn't commit suicide.
No, they killed him in the prison.
Did they?
Well, he committed suicide apparently, but yeah.
Yeah, I know.
They say he
wouldn't.
committed suicide.
Yeah, he wouldn't.
But then after they published this 3 million pages, you say, well, they must have killed him. There's no way, because probably there is more to dig out, and they're not digging out. But anyway, um, and there were, it happened, two youngsters came to prison with him, and one of them saw a dream, squeezing um, grapes for his master, and the other one carrying food and birds eating from the food. He told one of them that he will be executed, the other one that he will be uh, proved innocent and he will serve his master again. And then he tried to bring them to believe in Allah Azza wa Jal while he was, before he actually explained to them what's going to happen to them. So, and he told them he followed the message of Ibrahim and Ishaq and Yaqub. And so he didn't waste a chance, even in the prison. Um, and then told them here, after nearly one page, advising them to believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. And then he went to the one who he thought will be proved innocent and survive, to mention his story in the presence of the king. But now they said Umar ibn Khattab, before he died, he saw a dream that a cock eating from his head, a chicken eating from his head. He asked, "What do you think the meaning?" And they couldn't tell the meaning. He said, "I think this means that I will die." He took it obviously from this surah, that if a bird eating, I hope we don't see that dream. The bird eating from his brain means that he's going to die. But because he forgot about him, he stayed for more years. And then the king saw the dream of two thin cows eating, seven thin cows eating seven um, fat cows, and then um, seven corns of grain, and um, three corns which is dry, um, and tried to ask the people to tell him the meaning of the dream. At that time, um, the guy who was out of prison, he remembered, oh, I know a guy who can interpret the dream, and he went to ask him. So ذكر بعد أمة. He remembered, he kept thinking, and then, oh, I remember now. I was with him in prison. And then send me, and he went to Yusuf and asked him to give him a fatwa. After now, he's got somebody who have a problem, religious problem or medical problem or social problem. You ask somebody to give you a clue how to find an answer. So here he asked him, what's the meaning of that dream? And then Yusuf alayhi told him that there will be 7 years where there will be good crops and 7 years where there will be famine. And then year number 15 will be a lot of crops. He didn't say anything about year 15, the king, but this is from Allah Azza wa Jal told Yusuf the meaning of that. Now, when they tell us the meaning of this, they say Yusuf, the good, great characters of Yusuf alayhi, he could have said to him, I don't know, I'm not telling you. Go, let you suffer, because you made me here 15 years in the prison. Or he would have said, I will not tell you until you get me out of prison. Or he would tell them the wrong things, let them, suffer. But he wasn't. He was so generous. This is why they called him Al-Karim ibn al-Karim ibn al-Karim. He was so generous. He told them without anything, off you go and tell. So he went and told the king, and the king was so pleased that there is an answer to his dream, and said, go and bring him. Now, when they went to bring him, he said, no, I'm not going out until the king knows about the story of the women who cut their hands. Now, he created curiosity in the king. What's that? What's that? Bring them, everybody here, everybody. Then started that, like the court or the inquiry. And then the wife of the Aziz, she said, now I'm going to tell. She seduced him. She said, I seduced him, and he was fastasam. He was so innocent. And then he said, ليعلم أني لم أخنه بالغيب, and my husband should know that I have not cheated him. So she didn't cheat him, she didn't sleep with him, because the rumor was filling the place to the stage that they put Yusuf in prison. And then that's the twist of the story now, that he asked the king, when he selected him to be with him in the palace, that make me in charge of the treasure. Now he's not asking to lead, like to become a king or a wali, by asking to them to benefit from his skills, which the scholar says is halal. Well, what's haram? To go and ask to be appointed in charge of people. But here, say you ask to offer your service and your skills, that's okay. Like I'm a doctor, apply for a job. Somebody, engineer, apply for a job, that's okay. You apply and they appoint you. And then he said to him, now you are Makin, Aminun Makin, Ladaina Makinun, Amin, established in power, and you are trusted. So he made him in charge of the treasurer, and Allah Azza said, Makkanna li Yusuf. That's why I established his status. I will not let anybody lose out when he is serving Allah Azza. And then when the famine started, and his brothers showed to ask to buy grain from them, he put their money inside. He plotted that, he put the money inside the grain, so they can prove to their father that he is really generous. And he took out of them that they have a brother. But he said, next time you come and bring your brother with you. And as you know, the story tell that they went back and told the father. The father now here said the right things when he handed his brother to them. هي ولما جهزهم وجاءت أخوة يوسف فدخلوا عليه فعرفهم لهم منكرون. They didn't know him. So he asked them to bring their brother. And when they opened their bags and things, they found out that he returned their money in the grain he gave them, and he believed them. But then he said to them, first you need to give me, you need to make an oath that you will bring him back, unless you're really unable to. And he said to them, Wallahu khairun hafidhan. Now he learned the lesson that Allah is the one who will protect him. And then he said to them something which the human are really afraid of, which is the evil eye. He said to them, when you enter, don't enter from one door, enter from several doors. Either the evil eye was worried of, or he was worried that there might be like a threat to the Egyptian when there's 11 of them entering from one door. So I said, enter from different door. And Allah Azza wa said that would not protect them unless Allah Azza wa want to protect them. But yes, the Majar Allah Azza wa mentioned. It's not like he didn't blame Yaqub from saying something wrong. And he said, ما كان يغني أنا من الله إلا حاجة في نفس يعقوب قضاها. That's something in the mind of Yaqub. So when he went, he took his brother, told him the story that I'm your brother, but then he wanted to keep him. So when he wanted to keep him, he left the measure of the king in his bag. He started searching all the bags until he found it in his bag. Now he can't take Binyamin in the law of the king, because you can't actually, in Egypt, the law there, you can't take prisoner or slave the one who stole. He said, what should be the penalty? They said, he should be the penalty. You take him as a slave. So Allah says, وَمَا كَانَ أَنْ يَأْخُذَ أَخَاهُ فِي دِينِ الْمَلِكِ. إلا أن يشاء الله. So وكذلك كدنا ليوسف. We taught Yusuf what to say and how to ask them what's the penalty. And he asked them, and they said that you take him as a slave. And he used their law, which shouldn't. You don't use, like in Britain, the law of Saudi Arabia or the law of Syria or something. But he used their law to keep his brother, and he managed to get his father back. And then he gave them his shares, and he said, "Throw him in the face of my father. He will um, come regain his his eyesight." Um, Now he said to them. Now, when they went back, they said to their father, which is really interesting, "If you don't believe us, ask the village we were in, ask the camels we came with," which is like, a metaphoric way that even the camels will witness, even the houses will witness that we are telling the truth. Because they lied before. How would you make me accept that you're not lying this time? Um, but when I want to bring you a yeah. ارجعوا إلى أبيكم فقولوا يا أبانا no. Yeah, he wouldn't die. The older brother, he wouldn't go back with them because he was the one he was the one who plotted the very beginning, and they followed him. Um, and he asked them to go back and see what's happening. Is it what happened to Yusuf and Benjamin? It's like he had some knowledge from Allah. They're both alive and both will come back to you. But I didn't tell him the rest of the story. Um, and then when he went them, he told them, "Yes, I am Yusuf, and this is my brother, and Allah has been generous with us, and He will not let anybody lose out." Um, and they said to him the phrase, "Tallahi qad atharak," like, to copy his brother Yusuf, and he said, "La tathrib alaykum." Don't worry, you all free, and he freed them. So in Mecca, 2,000 became Muslim because of this phrase. Go, اذهبوا فأنتم الطلقاء. And then he said, اذهبوا بقميصي هذا فألقوه على وجه أبي يأتي بصيرا. Take my shirt, throw him in the face of my father, he will regain his eyesight and come back. This phrase I used when those people say, "Oh, you can't say this, it's with the will of Allah, by permission from Allah." But he didn't say by the will of Allah, permission of Allah. When Isa said, "I cure the sick and make the blind see and the deaf hear, and bring back to life," he used to say, "Biiznillah, biiznillah, biiznillah." Why? Because they were mixing Jesus as God. While here the same said by Yusuf, but they didn't say Biiznillah. It's not Biiznillah. You don't have to say it. It's by the will of Allah, by the permission from Allah. But he said it without saying by permission from Allah. And then obviously he regained his eyesight and he went back. He went with them. He smelled the smell of Yusuf, and when they went, um, ورفع أبويه على العرش. So he put his father and mother on the throne, and all his brothers bowed down to him in humility and humbleness. And he said to his father, "This is uh, the meaning of my dream. Allah made it true. Allah made my dream come true, and Allah is good. Took me out of prison." He started mentioning all the good things. He didn't mention the bad things. Allah took me out of prison. He didn't say I went to prison. Allah took me out of prison. And Allah Azza wa Jal, and Shaitan who split between me and my brothers. Not my brothers evil and my brothers this. So, you're winning, you're winning. You don't have to remind them. They know it. So be gentle and you keep them. If you remind people the good you do and the bad they've done, they even will hate you more. But if you highlight the good things they've done and the bad things, leave it to Shaitan. It's Shaitan who tricked you. Then you gain, double gain. And then he said this phrase, ربنا آتيتني من الملك ما لم تبين الحديث توفني مسلما. He said, "Let me die as Muslim." Now, can you ask Allah to make you die? So some Muslims say, "Oh, you can because Yusuf did." No. The Prophet ﷺ taught us, you say, "Oh Allah, make me live if life is better for me, and make me die is death is better for me." But don't ask him to make you die. And let me follow the Salihin, the pious people. He didn't say, "I am pious, let me go with the pious people." No, he said, "Attach me with those pious people before me." Although He was the Karim ibn al-Karim, Nur Karim. So this is the lessons from Surah Yusuf. Obviously, it took Imam Sha'rawi 12 hours to go through the page by page, but if we go through the Quran this way, I think it might be. What do you think? Take subject. This is in one surah, but there will be other subjects like inheritance will be in a lot of ayahs, like divorce will be in a lot of surahs, like salah and zakah will be in multiple surahs, will be in a lot of surahs. So you have imagination of a topic in the Quran, and this is what I say to my children: when you talk about Islam, you need to have in your mind clear uh, verses from the Quran to bring it. It's in the Quran in this place, in the Quran in this place. This is, which. So inshallah, we'll be trying this way. And if you want to ask other people to come, that will be in your reward, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. اللهم اجعل اجتماعنا هذا اجتماعنا مرحوما وتفرقنا من بعده تفرقا معصوما. May Allah make our meeting blessed and protect us after leaving here. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر الحمد لله. It's because it's one